I'm going to speak now. Sorry, let me finish. Thank you. Right. This was a WhatsApp conversation actually, and I just typed it out. I was speaking to Gemma, and she went, "That's like a poem." And I went, "Oh yeah." So this is the result. This is true. Gardening a summary. The grass is like a prairie. The strimmer lines run out. The mower just gave up its fight, and the chickens keep trying to eat my toes. They think they're nail varnishes berries. I trod on all the radishes. I didn't mean to, I sort of just did by accident. The pumpkins won't have sex, because I don't know why, you can't just let a pumpkin do its thing. You've got to put things into other things and let it do. It's like pumpkin IVF. My Crocs don't grip, and I fell in shit. I've done too many runs to the tip. My car smells of slurry, and now so do I. The shed's leaning into Ernie's garden. He'll have a fright one day, but not as bad as when he found a chicken on his landing.
I want the end of bickering politics, the tit-for-tat one-upmanship, the I'm a right Jack thrust of it, and the end of bloody war. I want equality, integrity, community, diversity, transparency and unity, sustainable clean energy and healthcare free for all. I want education for learning's sake, a creative singing, dancing space where kids can grow up interested in what life holds in store. You wonder what a woman wants? I can't speak for the rest of us, but there's this stirring at the core of us that's globally inspired. So come on in, the water's fine. As long as we don't frack or mine. Cooperatives, not corporate greed. Please end this nuclear insanity. So every hungry mouth can feed on what the earth gives naturally, without monopoly on seed. A space in which we all can breathe. I want to grow old with some dignity in my own community, surrounded by the people that I've loved since they were born. Then when I'm dead and gone, please plant whatever's left of me beneath some fresh new sapling tree for shade and oxygen. I've had enough of politics to sink a bloody battleship. I don't know how you're feeling, but my head's quite frankly reeling from all the corporate gobshite we've been force-fed far too long. Bring it on!
I've been given the privilege of presenting one of our Charlene's original Poet on the Hill, one of the first bunch. She's got a little bit of a bad smoker's cough at the minute. I thought I was privileged of doing this one for her. It's called Banging Weather. Good morning, you handsome lot. Banging weather. I'm so happy right now I could power neck a lamppost and dry hump a curb. Gonna take out my Kappa tracksuit, get a bottle of White Lightning, and slam on my Spice Girls album. This is the life. Whoop whoop, chicken soup. Wet wet chicken flap. It's only Funky Finger Licking Chicken Friday. Banging Weather by Charlie. Well done, Charlie. Yes, as somebody said, I'm going to do a sound detached poem, because they're on the same, these two poems are on the same subject. My flag's falling up. It's about my best friend, my main mucker, my main man, apart from my wife. My best friend is my son Frank. He's only 2.5, but I can't go anywhere without him. I even make excuses to get him out of bed in the middle of the night and come in for a cutch, because I pine for him even when he's asleep. He's my main man. We like always see us side by side like salt and pepper pots in the greasy spoon calf, you know. So this one of two, Frankie Says. It sort of reads like a young children's book, you know what I mean, more of a poem. So I think you'll understand when I kick it. Here we go. Frankie Says. Frankie says that the Townhill water tower is a castle, and a princess lives in it. This from his vantage point through the window on top of the kitchen table. On gambling excitedly to school, he greets any and all he meets. And on passing, Frankie says, bye-bye, see you soon. To the neighbour, the council workman, and to the feral cat. Even to the bunch of roadside daffodils near the rowan tree. He doesn't wish anyone to be left out. Walking home hand in hand, I asked if he has played with his friends. Frankie says yes. Did you play in the sandpit, Frankie? Did you paint pictures? Did you listen to stories? Frankie says yes, yes, and yes. And what songs did you sing? Frankie says, Baba Black Sheep. How's your dinner, Frankie? Frankie says, delicious. And after a long day of looking and learning and of adventure, and while being tucked up safely into bed, I ask, what will he dream of, Frankie? Frankie says, dream of planets, dream of moons, dream of rockets and spaceships, dream of dragons and elephants and starfish. Sweet dreams, Frankie. Frankie smiles and says, sweet dreams. Thank you very much. That's my mother's favourite, isn't it, ma'am? Where's the other one? There we are. As I watch you sleep. It's similar. As the lights of the city blink off one by one, the sun peeps over the horizon and through the chink in the curtains, softly illuminating my path to your bedside, where I silently watch you sleep. A lock of syrup-coloured hair falls across your brow. You're exhausted yet content through the day's exertions. The silent metronomic rise and fall of your chest. The world seems to stall on its axis, allowing me to be intoxicated by this moment for an eternity. I stand and know that famine, war, pestilence and greed could only ever happen far, far away from here. Thank you.
Well, this isn't a rap. This actually came out of a bit of anger because not so long ago I was sick and tired of reading in the newspaper and hearing on the television, we are bed blockers. We're using up too much money in the NHS and resources, and because of our pensions, we are just a nuisance. That's what we are. We're just a nuisance, using up resources, bed blocking. They forget who built and manned and moneyed the country after the Second World War. Part of my wages, 14-year-old, was going on that, and my dad's wages. I mean, we may be old now, but we have served our purpose. So this is really brought on by anger. It's called old biddies. It's as if somebody is saying that when I'm passing by. Look at that old biddy. A draw on our resources. Send her to the knacker's yard, like they do with old horses. There she goes, a waste of space. Lived too long in the human race. Her pension means I get less dole. She's using up resources. Send her to the knacker's yard, like they do with old horses. Dorian will be pleased to know I've only got one more payment on my funeral plan. They came yesterday to collect the last but one money, so the 15th of December I paid for my funeral.
Keep saying, oh, have a look at this will, though. I said, man, I don't want to read your bloody will.
No, he didn't.
Just put it under the...
He doesn't want to know. I tell you, you've got to know these things. You know, you've got to know these things. Okay, well, this is really talking about things I'd like to do before I die. Very little. There's very little that I'm sorry for, very, very little. We all make mistakes, but we learn by our mistakes.
I don't.
So,
we learn by you.
Things to do before I die. Dear friends, here's my to-do list. Things to do before I die. No roller coasters, bungee jumping, climbing mountains high. These things would not excite me. When God decides I've had my time, they require strength and vigour. And I'm afraid I'm past my prime. Take me off to Lapland for a sleigh ride in the snow, with bells a-tinkling, reindeers prancing, That's where I want to go. A fleecy blanket to warm my toes, a white fur hat for style. To watch the children having fun, I sit, I watch, I smile. Give me a glass of red mulled wine.
Got one already?
It was lovely. I'm sure I won't say no. So there, my dears, you have it. Things to do before I go.
Only Jem could write this. It's called Crimson Thighs. Townhill is all it was, although my thighs would say different. Red sky at night, chafing delight, is all I could ponder. Rubbing together gleefully like they were plotting to take over the world. Thankful for my lack of pubes, for I'm sure I'd catch fire.
I finally got around to your room dusting, removing the dust that had formed from your skin when your IKEA room's over-spilling bin signified you were most definitely in. Forgot the next verse.
Hang on.
No, I haven't forgotten it. I will get it in the order. I tidied your notice board. Thank you. I tidied your notice board in a way you'd appreciate what could be done in a day. Your pics, cards, notes, slips from your pay, I arranged on said board in the shape of a J. And I imagined you'd see how your life could be if only you clean up regularly. Because I wonder at Dad's house, are you more tidy? Perhaps it's not you, perhaps it is me. This room's such a mess made by the three of you. Because first there was 3, and then there was 2, and then there was just wonderful you. Basking in glory, front of the queue. And so you've come back, just for tonight. Your key in the door did not give me a fright. Your drunken footsteps on the stairs in no light didn't wake me, though I expected they might. You must have knocked over that pic of my niece as you stumbled to bed in the midnight dark peace and wiped your fingerprints off on your fleece. How to avoid Mam's wrath, wonders ne'er cease. And you came earlier, sat at our table for dinner. Thanks, Mum, no mushrooms, we're on to a winner. I'm still making you meals, and I ain't getting thinner. Portions stacked in the freezer, not in the bin. No. Tea oversteeped, dash of milk, too large sugar. Since you've left, it feels the house has got bigger. Less dishes, but I ain't gonna snigger, 'cause my house feels so empty without youthful vigour. 3 loads of washing, pub stink bedding, your socks are so rank in the bin they are heading. Your jeans, jumper and the t-shirt you slept in. The state of the bathroom is what I am dreading. Duvet cover changed with my magical powers. I've removed you bedroom crockery towers. Plug in masks curry with aroma of flowers. 3 toilet rolls used in 24 hours. CD, DVD, TV, all left on standby. Skiddies in the pan, you don't even try. 3 months you've been gone. I've done nothing but cry. You're my baby, and this poem's my goodbye.
Holy City, yeah. The title sort of, good God, there's a lot of it.
It's more than you think.
The title sort of speaks for itself. Wind rips in from the Bristol Channel, tearing white scars in the waves wrinkling across Swansea Bay. Mubble's lighthouse winks once in the slaver of stinging rain, and gulls soaring, angled and slanting, speared on the gathering dark. In the crush and rush of wind and rain, the city grips the rim of land like shellfish to a rock, rooted through so many different strands, work and chapel, poetry and strike and riot, with knuckled tenacity here in the Wild West. A stubborn hold on the rock of disorder, here in the land of the outermost ripple, the outermost nipple, permanent squall and uproar, storm and mutiny, where all sacred is profaned and Proteus thrashes in the shallows. Not here, the petty bourgeois semblance of order of the East, the anglicised Uncle Tom'd, pseudo-Cymric, Toryfied, quasi-empirical imperial facades of Cardiff, or even worse, bloody Chepstow. Out here on the perimeter, the wind plunges and pours out of a land beyond the Empire's dictates. This is outlaw country, where tumbleweed fumbles down the canyons of Portmead and Blaenau. This is the permeable border between thought and manifestation, thesis and antithesis, hero and anti-hero, anti-zero and anti-LC. These are the boundary markers of consciousness and unconsciousness on the pavement outside Sin City. This is where the wind whips the beach, the sky burns the earth, and the mountains march into the sea. This is where poetry invades speech, and speech invades silence. This is where the hallucination makes tea in the kitchen, and light-blasted visions light up the clouds above Port Talbot, where ecstasy and LSD stubbornly pervade the water supply, where piss and bliss coincide, where all artists are piss artists, where Caitlin leaves her knickers in a taxi in Wine Street, where Abdul prays in St. Helens Road Mosque, and the ghosts of Doc Holliday and Jesse James drink bootleg whiskey all afternoon in the ghost of the Tenby. This is where all cliches die and all stereotypes explode. This is where the revolution tears itself up by the roots, where the fractured soul lingers like gravel in an open-mouthed wound as it turns to booze, drugs and damnation. This is where zenith and zero search out their own blustering definition in the wind-blasted terraces of Harvard and the fractured post-industrial suburbs of Bonamine. This is where permanent rhodomantade dances always on the virgin of the ridiculous. This is the land where the pharaohs died.
Hi everybody. Oh god, I'm looking at the faces. I'm looking at the faces. Okay, so I'm just going to look at the book. Okay. In the eye of the storm, nothing matters, and everything is dead. The thunder crashes in your ears, lightning strikes overhead. You crumble in the rain, and the wind howls. It's cold, but you feel nothing. You're numb through it all. Flashes of emotion pass by. A sarcastic smile, you wave them on. And the storm keeps on growing, mountain from a molehill. It's unclear how it all began, but it's not stopping soon. And it's building a crescendo now. Louder and louder, thunder crashing, lightning screaming, rain pelting my skin. And here I stand, in the eye of the storm, numb to the end of the world. At least for another day.
Hi, good evening. Let's go, shall we? I am the lost child of passion. Here I stand for the dawn of all time, for all eternity, waiting for the day when a champion comes to fight the fight of passion. my champion. You will be created by the earth that men stand on. The wind that whistles through the air. The fire that burns in the bellies of men of vision and wisdom. The water, a crystallized tear from the eyes of God himself. For a heart, for his heart must be pure, for his fight is a lonely one, for he is the dream maker. I dub you a savage of passion, arise and bring color and light to the darkest abysses and dungeons of despair. Inspired to be inspired, and even the storm shall whisper thy name.
I'm going to read a poem called Then, which is about my childhood in Townhill and people that I hung around with when I was younger. I was a good girl, but Townhill's in my blood and I'm proud of my roots. And this is a bit of a reminiscence, I don't know, a bit of a, what's the word? Going down memory lane, yeah. Okay, then. The strains of music from the ice cream man, the smell of blackberries and purple hands, purple lips, purple spots, purple dots on your top, twigs sticking in your hair, the smell of grass in the air, freckles coaxed by the sun, avoiding my brother's battered water gun. Get away from me now before I kill you. Laughing and soaking and chasing and drips, halcyon days, where if you tripped, someone would say, "Did you get me a stick of rock?" Millie Molly Mandy, haunting the school, hearing a noise and running into each other, feet not moving fast enough. Move, you tool! Laughing, hearts beating, stomach flipping and tripping over yourselves and your friends. My father's harder than your father. My dog could do your dog. What? Pecking order. The only focus is getting over. Your first kiss, your first head chop, your first bobby knock. Spinning on the roundabout, writing male mafia. Where I wanted to say, boys, it's FIA, not IER, on the side of the scar. My face contorted when they were scraping meg ends, shaking my head and gagging. What's a meg between friends? Baggy jeans and bodysuits, pinging bras and fondles by the bars, where we do roly-polies, curling around the metal like peel from a tangerine. 10p mixes, no mobile phone pictures. 10p phone calls, writing on the brick wall. No worry days, free of cares. Carefree days, let me count the ways. We all do the old biddy's head in, who keeps telling us to move, when we haven't even made a sound, as a pound, loud. Swinging her walking stick like a golf club, trying to tee off my mate's head, dead. I'm laughing and running and panting and shouting and I'm young. She says she's going to call the police. We shrug. The light dips, we sit, on the grassy bank, picking at daisies and grass blades, deciding what to do the next day. Street lights pop on, time to go home. The strains of music from the ice cream man, the smell of the blackberries and purple hands, purple lips, purple spots, purple dots on your top, twigs sticking in your hair, the smell of grass in the air, freckles coaxed by the sun. For today, we're done. Thank you so much for coming, guys. I know how warm it is in here for everybody.